welcome back to Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Anime Review episode number 11. You're probably thinking, if you didn't watch the previous episodes, we're like, wait, episode 11? Like, last episode you did talking about a regular episode of the series, of course, this is I'm talking about episode number 16, which is called, I'm just clear my throat here, Haka Kobayashi in many ways. When did you cover episodes 5 through 10? Excuse me. I covered the shorts for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. The first one basically covering the shorts that came out during the first season, which I didn't cover these ones, and the S ones, which are on Crunchyroll, by the way. The first set of shorts are not available on Crunchyroll. I don't really know why, but Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S short series is. It's like 13 episodes. They're only like really short, about 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, anybody when you get a chance to watch these shorts, they're really quick. You can get through these. You can probably get through, let's say, the 13 they released for this one. You can probably get through these in less than like 30 minutes. Yeah, because they're really short. Now, this episode is a continuation of last week, obviously. And this one covers 37 39 of the manga. So it kind of basically covers almost the first 40 chapters of the manga in just 16 episodes. Which still makes it where episode 35 seems to be like the only chapter not been adapted yet. Yes. You were thinking, really? Yes, really. Yeah, 34 and 35 are actually 34 has been adapted, but 35 still is the only chapter not been adapted yet. That might be adapted for a future episode. Who knows? So yeah, almost the first 40 chapters, but still closing the gap. Like basically, chapters they adapted basically to adapt because episode 11 adapted chapter 48 of the series. Yes, 48. So. Let's see. Since they've covered a lot of that stuff, I'd say, it's about 7. I'd say about 8 more chapters before they pretty much cover the first 48 chapters of the manga, but it all depends on what they do next week. This episode picks up where last leg left off, where Kobayashi's coming home after being turned into a guy. Yeah, she spends almost the entire episode as a guy. And of course, when she's Toru, apparently she starts lusting after her. She's like, what am I lusting after Toru for? Yeah. And Lou was basically watching her the whole time. And she's like this for about a couple of days. And then she turned back normal. Oh yeah, and you have a slight change here. Yes. Like when she wakes up the next morning, Kana's in her bed just to warm her up. I should point out something interesting about this scene. This actually is a change from the manga. You're probably thinking, how? It's Kana in bed with Kobayashi. Kana in the manga was naked. I have no idea why Kana decided to strip naked just to hop in bed with Kobayashi. I thought that was kind of weird. And in the anime, I guess they must have saw that like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Let's put her clothes on her. Because, yeah, it's a little girl. Why the heck would she hop in someone who was a woman who got transformed into a guy? It would kind of make out that Kobayashi might be a pedophile. That's my guess, the reason why they did that. I'm still not really sure why in the world that they decided to do this for, but okay. Oh yeah, and there's a little more skin in the manga too for these chapters. Like, you actually get a little more skin from Toru. You actually see almost like part of her body. Like, a lot of stuff you see like her going to Kobayashi in the bath, where she's basically there coming naked, and like her getting a love potion of her basically stripping in front of her. That happened in manga too. So a lot of stuff did happen. So it's pretty much most the same after that. So then, of course, after she got through with this, after she goes through 2 days, kind of like back to normal. Puts on normal clothes. Everything is like back to normal. And then she goes out and she leaves work and she wonders, move out in Lulu. And meanwhile, though, Lulu's being attacked by someone from the Harmony clan, from the Harmony faction, which Elsa is part of this group. Yes, Elsa. Which they might go back this later on. Which I don't think this guy appears again, because I read the whole manga. I don't have this guy appearing ever again. Nope. So he basically just beats the crap out of Lou off screen, and then of course Kobayashi runs to him. Of course, She distracts him by using a noise bus that wakes up a neighbor, drags her away, and of course, well, Lou comes to Kobayashi's side, not only because she basically saved her life, but because she says nice things to her. And then the Dragon Slayer shows up and basically hits Kobayashi, which that makes Toru angry. And then, of course, Kobayashi's like, it's about time he showed up. And, of course, he turns around like, oh, crap, she's here. And then she proceeds to beat the crap out of him, nearly break the man's neck, like, squeeze him, like, basically bring her hand out the claw mode. And, like, then Kobayashi asks, like, did you kill him? Like, nah, I didn't kill him. I simply just erased his memories, throw him back into the world, and punished him by breaking up one of his hordes. Yep. And then Kobayashi passes it after being hit by a dragon. So then Lou basically decides to stay with them. And of course, then she goes off. Kobayashi kind of go off to what they do. Kind of goes off to school. And of course, there's a minor subplot here. I think it's in original content, where you have Sakura basically create sort of a Japanese-style wedding for her and Kana. Which, okay, I'll let it slide. It's something that's been clearly established in the series that Sakura's got a thing for Kana, even though these two are little girls. It's a series. I'm not going to blame the series for this. I'm not going to blame the anime for this. I'm going to blame Cool Sensei for this. That's literally what he calls. That's what this person calls himself, Cool Sensei. It's a pen name. So I'm going to blame that person for it. So it's a brief scene. It doesn't really much. Establish anything. Of course, Kobayashi talks to Lou. He's established like something for her to do in this world, and he's like, okay, what about Kana? She's her job is elementary school, so he's like, I like elementary school. He's like, you're around my age, so no, and we need to transform your claws into hands. She does, but basically like little balls. It turns out there's tiny little hands, and of course she reads like a paper. I thought it was so hilarious, and then she tries on a tire, which I thought Kana's app might work, but nope, her chest size is just too big. And then eventually we have Toru just gives her, well, a pull-on dress, which this is basically her attire for a lot of times she's seen, so don't worry about that. And then when Kobayashi comes home, it's like takes off her tie, and it's like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to mate with you. And of course, you're like, I want to make babies. And she's like, makes babies with Kobayashi, make it a guy again. And Toru's like, no, she's mine. And then you have Kobayashi like, I'm saving for somebody. Yeah. There's some hints there, but it's not really explored here. It's possibilities. It's a tiny little hint that Kobayashi might have a thing for Toru. And that's where the episode ends. Though I've seen in later stuff for the clips, like for the ending credits, that Lou does develop actual regular digits on her hands. So she does look kind of weird with like little ball hands thing. So don't worry about that. She does keep the tail around, so that doesn't become much of an issue. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty good episode. I got to hand this one. And I can't wait for next week. Yep. I didn't see a preview for next week, surprisingly. No, look like I might focus on Edna next week. That might be something she was in this episode. Maybe we're only going to adapt 35 finally for next week. It's possible. I would not be surprised if they went to 35 next week and just, 35, maybe like 41, 42. It's possible. But we'll find out next week. Yeah, it's strange like how last week they covered 4 chapters and this week they covered 3. Yeah, this series has a vary of how many chapters they adapted. The very first episode of the series, 4 chapters. Second episode covered 4 chapters, but not the first 4. But not like 5 to 8, basically. 5 to 7, 9. I mean, it seemed like over the course of the series they covered bits and pieces, like a good chunk of the series overall. But yeah, they covered pretty much like overall, like right now, just the first 30, 3 chapters, and 36 to 40, and 48. That's how much they covered in just 60 episodes. Well, we'll find out which episode adapt next week. But like I said, the preview looks like they're going to focus on Edna next week. So basically, maybe we're going to adapt that Edna chapter. Okay? So, next video will probably be more fairy tale. Okay? To the next video. Bye.